All right, strap in, folks, because today we are diving headfirst into some, shall we say, spicy territory.
Definitely a hot button topic.
This article, it doesn't pull any punches, claiming right out the gate,
Hmm.
is there a war on white Americans and the middle class?
Big question right there.
Big question. And look, before anyone hits that skip button, let's be clear. This isn't about us picking a side, okay? We're here to unpack this, analyze it, understand where it's coming from.
Exactly. Got to get inside the argument, right?
Exactly. So the article kicks off with this bold claim, basically saying the U.S. government, it's the biggest threat, bigger than any foreign power, any rogue nation.
A provocative statement, for sure.
And you know what? To really grasp this, got to rewind a bit, don't you think? Look back at where this sentiment, this distrust in government, where it stems from.
You're right. It's not coming from nowhere. You look back historically, you've got Watergate, Vietnam, even just economic downturns. Those moments, they breed distrust, you know?
And the article argues that this distrust, it's festered, claiming that leadership, it's now filled with people who are, and I'm quoting here, hostile to the middle class, specifically white Americans.
Okay, so they're being pretty specific with their target there.
They are, and to make their point, they draw this stark contrast, right? Like, remember the space race?
Yeah.
All that excitement, progress, they're comparing that to what they see as today's stagnation.
Interesting comparison. It's like they're tapping into this nostalgia, right? This yearning for a time when America was undeniably the dominant force.
Leading the charge, and they even take aim at Mount Rushmore, which, I gotta admit, threw me for a loop. They single out Lincoln, question his whole great emancipator image, which feels, I don't know, a bit jarring, especially in this context.
Yeah, it's a bit of a head-scratcher at first glance. I mean, you're seeing this broader trend of reevaluating historical figures, right?
Yes.
But in this article, it feels like they're using it to bolster this argument about American decline.
Like a piece in their puzzle.
Exactly.
Okay, so hold on tight, because the article then makes this hard left turn and jumps to, wait for it, the end of physical money.
Whoa, okay, where did that come from?
Right. Cash, dollars, gone, poof, vanished.
Wow.
And they connect this somehow to government overreach, loss of privacy, the whole 9 yards.
It's like they're painting this picture, this dystopian future, right? Where every transaction, every cent you spend, it's all tracked, monitored.
Okay, picture this. You're on this high-speed train, sleek, modern, zipping through a futuristic cityscape. But it's not New York, it's not Tokyo, it's Kuala Lumpur, at least according to this article.
Oh, okay, getting vivid now.
They paint this picture of modern Asian cities, contrasting them with what the speaker sees as, well, the decay of American cities. And it's a stark comparison for sure.
It's intentional, though, right? They're tapping into these anxieties about global competition, America falling behind.
And it's not just skylines. They specifically point to China, their investments in Africa, railroads in particular. They contrast that with the U.S.'s efforts, and, well, let's just say we don't exactly get a gold star.
Yeah, they're using that example to underline this narrative of shifting global power, China rising, America. Well,
Not quite on top anymore.
exactly.
Fading a bit, at least according to them. And then, just when you think you've got a handle on their argument, bam, they throw this curveball topic right at you, marijuana legalization.
An interesting turn, for sure.
Right, and it feels kind of out of left field, but then they tie it back in, you know?
Yeah.
They touch on the whole personal freedom aspect, sure, but then they connect it to these societal issues.
It's like they're saying, yeah, freedom's great, but look what happens.
Exactly, and they use Denver as their example, saying homelessness, it's skyrocketed after legalization.
Yeah.
So it's like they're arguing, look, even when we try to give people more freedom, the system, it just messes it up.
It all circles back to their core argument, right? This government that's failing its citizens, even when it tries to do something supposedly good.
It's a complicated issue, no doubt. On one hand, you've got individual liberty, but then on the other, these societal concerns.
Yeah.
Makes you think about that balance, doesn't it? Individual freedom versus collective well-being.
Absolutely. It's not a simple equation, and it highlights the responsibility of not just the government, but of individuals, communities, too, in navigating these really complex issues.
Exactly. It's not about pointing fingers. It's about understanding the nuance.
Right.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do here. Understand, not just dismiss.
Right, because whether you agree with every single conclusion in this article, or any for that matter, it's reflecting something real, this sense of anxiety, this disillusionment that's bubbling up in parts of society.
It's like that feeling when the ground shifts beneath you, you know, that instability. And this article, it tries to pinpoint the cause of that earthquake.
And what's fascinating is they're not alone, right? This narrative of decline, of distrust is popping up everywhere in our politics, our media, even just casual conversations.
It's become part of the air we breathe almost.
In a way, yeah. So to recap this whirlwind of an article, they're arguing there's this disconnect between the America of yesterday, the one that conquered space, led the world, and the America of today.
The one they see as struggling to keep up.
Exactly. Struggling with internal divisions, economic anxiety, and a government they see as failing its people. Particularly, and they keep coming back to this, the white middle class.
And they use these really vivid examples to drive their point home, right? History, global competition, even something as symbolic as Mount Rushmore. It's a carefully crafted narrative, for sure.
Definitely aimed at a particular audience.
For sure. So to you, our listener, what sticks with you? What resonates? Or maybe what makes you go, not quite buying that? What are your thoughts?
It's easy to get caught up in the headlines, the back and forth, but taking a step back, analyzing those underlying anxieties, that can offer a fresh perspective.
It's all about connecting the dots, right?
Right.
Because even if you don't agree with every point, understanding where those arguments come from, that's crucial.
Especially these days when it seems like everyone's retreating to their own corners, right? Engaging with different viewpoints, even the uncomfortable ones, it's more important than ever.
It's like we're all adjusting the equalizer,
Yeah.
trying to find that perfect balance.
Absolutely. And this article, agree or disagree, it's shining a light on that struggle, highlighting the tensions that are always simmering beneath the surface.
Trying to find that sweet spot, that balance point where it all comes together.
Exactly. And this article, whether you agree with their conclusions, it's like they're holding up a mirror showing us those cracks in the foundation.
Those fault lines, the tensions between individual freedom, societal well-being, worries about the economy, about America's place in the world. Man, we have covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have. And if there's one thing I hope our listener walks away with, it's the importance of understanding those anxieties, even if we don't share them.
It's like that old saying, walk a mile in their shoes.
Yeah.
You might not end up agreeing,
Yeah.
but you see things from a whole new angle.
100%. And that understanding, that empathy, it's crucial if we want to even try to bridge these divides, find some common ground.
Because at the end of the day, we're all in this together, right? On this crazy, messy planet.
Yeah.
It's up to us to figure out how to move forward in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
Well said. It's about really listening, engaging with each other respectfully, acknowledging that these issues, they're not black and white, they're complex.
No easy answers, that's for sure. So here's a thought to chew on as you go about your day, all right? This article, it argues there's a war being waged on a certain segment of society. But what if, instead of a war, we see it as a call to action, a call to address these anxieties, bridge those gaps, and work towards a future where everyone feels heard, represented?
Now that's a conversation worth having. And who knows, maybe through these deep dives, these shared moments of reflection, we can take a step, however small, closer to that goal.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, a little curiosity goes a long way in understanding this wild world of ours.